This is our presentation on the Verona Public Schools referendum planned for March 11, 2014. This is Steve Forte, Superintendent of Schools, with the message, what do you expect in Verona? Did you know the Verona schools do not have Wi-Fi, and the district technology backbone is 11 years old and cannot be expanded? It was originally built for approximately 250 machines, and we currently have 600 machines, and we are no longer able to expand our network for more devices. The reason why that's important is we need to be able to do things in the 21st century, including online testing and the use of wireless devices for educational purposes throughout the district. To put it in perspective, our district is the only district in the county who doesn't have the capability of doing that at this time. Did you know also that 2 firms conducted audits for security and made some strong and reasonable recommendations to improve our facilities for students and staff in the area of security? And also, did you also know that 2 of our schools are in need of new fire alarm panels? This picture is a picture of one of the doors in the district, and my little statement here is, did you know that there are several doors around the district that you can actually kick a hole in with your foot? This just happens to be one of them. This picture is not what it looks like. This is a broken heat pipe in the corner here, and what that did was send rusting water into the urinal, which was actually lucky at the time. But these types of things are occurring in the district, in the Verona High School, due to the fact that it's the original heat system when the building was built in the 1950s. So this heat system needs to be replaced, and that's not just including boilers, it's including all the piping, the ventilation, and the controls, as well as the furnaces and the boilers. So right now, Verona High School's heating system is not able to maintain a minimum of 60 degrees in a large part of our building. Did you know that the upper field at Verona High School is condemned and classified as a hazardous site by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection? You can see this environmental sign that's hanging on the fence there, and the field is now condemned. Did you also know that 2 Verona High School athletes have fallen in sinkholes during games or practices, and that one of our lawnmower operators also fell in a sinkhole while cutting the grass on that field, which we no longer do? Did you know that did you know that the district has developed programs to bring in over $100,000 a year in new revenue, and that we look at every possible way to save money? For example, we now do auctions for our electricity, and that saved the district thousands of dollars. Also, the state of New Jersey has promised to pay 40% of the eligible project costs in a $2.8 million grant. The state of New Jersey will also pay us debt service aid on another $2.4 million of the project. I'll get to that in a little while of what exactly that means. So here's our categories. The first one is general building needs. So we have exterior doors district-wide that need to be redone, replaced. We have paving at FM Brown, Verona High School, Forest, and HBW schools. Masonry repairs in the high school and Forest, HBW, and Brookdale. We need fire alarms at FM Brown and Forest. There's hall and classroom ceilings and lighting that need to be replaced. There's an addition in here to accommodate our growing Verona High School music program. And the gym bleachers in Verona High School are the original bleachers and need to be replaced, as well as at Brookdale School. The next category is technology. We need a new district-wide network, which will replace our network that was built in 2003. That includes new switches, cabling, phone upgrade, backup generator, network backup, and district-wide Wi-Fi. My note at the bottom here is this is not to prepare for park. It's to have normal technology. in the district in the 21st century. Being prepared for park is just a byproduct of being normal in the area of technology. HVAC, this is in Verona High School. Again, a total overhaul of the Verona High School heating and ventilation system. It replaces the original system that one of the things we hear often is it works fine as long as it's not too cold. It would be new boilers, new controls, new vents, new piping, a whole new heating system for the high school. Security. The money for security would create new vestibules at five schools. Landing school was done in 2006, so it doesn't need to be done, but there will be visitor control systems in place in all 6 schools. We would also have a district-wide network of 59 cameras with recording capability and a proximity access system like a swipe cards and new locking mechanisms on the doors district-wide. The next category is environmental remediation of the Verona High School property. This goes back to the slide where you saw the DEP sign and the condemned field. This is to clean up the environmental problems, construct a retaining wall, create an environmental cap. One of the reasons why we would add a 5th court is due to the fact that we need to do remediation of the area across the street from Sampson as well, due to the fact that there is additional historic fill placed there. And at the same time, we would refurbish the existing tennis courts, and those tennis courts at this time are in disrepair and they need to be replaced or refurbished. We would also create a usable space on the upper field for practices and physical education classes, and we would reclaim approximately 60% of that land. We would not remediate the structural part, but we would remediate all the environmental concerns on the upper field. We would create a green space that would be landscaped and fenced off, which would be about 40% of the land. But again, we would not address the structural problems on the upper field due to the fact that the method in which to do so would require dropping a 10 to 20 ton weight from 60 feet in the air for a period of 3 weeks to drop the level of the ground down about 3 feet. So therefore, this is where we have decided to environmentally remediate the property, but not to remediate the structural problems. This is a picture of Verona High School upper field from a satellite from Google Maps. As you can see, the area on the right-hand side here has not been maintained any longer due to the fact that there are sinkholes. But it is important to note that this is on Google Maps now. So here's our solution. After the remediation of the upper field and the environmental problems associated with it, we would create a multi-purpose field on the lower field. We would create a turf field with 2 football fields, lacrosse, soccer, full baseball and full softball fields, all down on the lower field. This would be 255,000 square feet of playing surface. There'd be lights, bleachers, fencing. We would repair the cement bleachers that are in disrepair as well. And this would also include a practice area for Verona High School band, since the band currently practices in a parking lot. And the band, as you know, and music in general in our district is basically the signature program for Verona schools. This is a drawing that our engineers drew for us. The layout of the field on the lower can be determined at a later date. This is just to give you an idea of what it would look like. This lower field area here would have the 2 fields, have the softball and the baseball, bleachers, lights. Up here in this green area with the trees, that would be that passive green area we spoke about. This would be our area right here that would have the practice area and the physical education area. This is pretty close to what we would do, and another school district of our size has a field just like this in central Jersey near Trenton. It's Bordentown High School, and as you can see, they have a full football field with the soccer and lacrosse on both sides. They have baseball on one side, softball on the other. There's lights, there's bleachers, and this type of a configuration would probably be where we would look to do something similar like that here in Verona. So here's a few pictures of the conditions of some of the areas that we plan to remediate. This is actually one of the classrooms in Verona High School. You can see the ceiling tiles are falling down. We need to address the lighting and ceilings in several of the rooms. This is the state of the paving in front of Verona High School, and the masonry as well is also a problem. This is a picture of Forest Avenue School's playground, and you can see the big hole in the middle of the asphalt. This needs to be replaced. It's just beyond its useful lifespan. On the right-hand side, you'll see a picture. This came from Brookdale School, and if you look closely, you'll see a crack that runs the entire length of that wall there. The yellow arrow points to it. This is can become a serious problem if we don't remediate it, due to the fact that water can get behind there and push this out, and it can become a problem where things like bricks will start to fall off the building. So we need to address that as well. This is the state of our bleachers in the high school main gym. These also have outlived their useful life. They're original bleachers from when the gym was built, and these also need to be replaced. This is just a sample or an example of some of the masonry problems we're having on sidewalks that need to be refurbished. This is an important slide due to the fact that this group represents every K-12 school district in our demographic in northern New Jersey with a similar number of students, pretty much approximately 1,500 to 3,000 students in northern New Jersey in our demographic, meaning we are what's called an I factor district, which is the second from the most wealthy districts, which would be a J factor. Your J factor districts would be Chatham, Milburn, Mountain Lakes, Glen Rock, etc. The next rung down would be I factor districts, and these districts represent all the I factor districts in northern New Jersey that are K-12 with a similar number of students. So as you see, Verona is at the bottom in per pupil spending. One of the ones I'd like to point out is Cedar Grove, and Cedar Grove is pretty much an outlier in this group due to the fact that their enrollment is going down. So really, I just want to focus on Verona and Berkeley Heights. That's the next one up from where we are. Berkeley Heights spends approximately $800 more per student. And if you added that up, we would be approximately $1.7 million a year more in our budget that could address some of these issues or also do other enhancements. This slide shows the property tax comparison of this same group. And you can see that Verona is toward the bottom. And I'd also like to point out that due to the fact that your county taxes in Essex County are at approximately 20% or 20 cents on the dollar, our revenue that comes in from your tax dollars is 54 cents on the dollar due to the fact that the county taxes are different here. If you notice, Kinnelon, which is in Morris County, has a 70 cents on the dollar comes into the school district, and Verona has 54 cents on the dollar. So where do our tax dollars go? These are the taxes on the left-hand side that leave Verona. So this is your federal, your state, your county tax. This is your income tax and also your county tax. This all leaves Verona. The second column that says $30 million, that is school property tax. That's the tax that stays in the town. $14.9 million is a tax that stays in the town and goes towards your town property tax. And then the far right column that says $1 million, that's your school referendum tax after this passes. Since 2006, since the 2006 referendum, we've paid off $8.2 million of the school bonds. This is just a natural process in which school districts need to maintain their facilities and need to go to the voters to bring in revenue that they cannot fund within their regular budget. And this cycle would continue. Here's the totals. You see in the right-hand column your general buildings and grounds, your technology, the HVAC, security, remediation, the community field, the total cost, and then this $2,796,000 comes right off the top, and the cost to the local taxpayers after the grant is $13,845,000. So the tax impact to the local taxpayers. This is all based on the average assessed value of $359,000. It would cost the average taxpayer an additional $176.75 per year, which comes out to 48 cents per day to make these improvements to our schools. And this is based on a 20-year bond at the projected borrowing rate of 3.65%. It is important to note that the bond rates just 1 year ago would have saved us approximately $2 million over the 20-year period. So there is a cost to not doing some of these improvements at this time. Question and answer. So why is the ballot question so confusing? Since we're getting two types of aid, the state is requiring a lengthy explanation. So we are getting two different types of aid, which is actually a good thing. So the ballot question has to explain that. That's the reason why it's as long and confusing as it is. But it's actually a good reason because less money will come from the local taxpayers and it will be subsidized with money from the state. What is a ROD grant? That ROD grant stands for Regular Operating District. And that's basically your suburban districts like Verona, Cedar Grove, Caldwell. And the other districts are more of your urban districts like East Orange and Irvington and Newark. The districts that are eligible for ROD grants are ones that don't typically receive as much aid from federal and state sources. So what happens to this referendum, this grant money if the referendum fails? The district only receives the money if we complete the project. And we have until June of 2015 to pass a referendum. What is debt service aid? That's aid that provides on a yearly basis funds to fund the payment of the loans. And our project has $2.4 million of debt service aid qualified projects, which will amount to a potentially 40% of the $2.4 million payments, the payments on the $2.4 million over the 20 years. We say potentially due to the fact that the state doesn't always fully fund the debt service aid, but there will be some aid associated with this project in that form. What projects qualify for a ROD grant or debt service aid? So the general buildings and grounds needs, except for the music addition, the state will not fund projects to build unless the entire building is deemed too small for the population. Technology, HVAC, and security, all eligible for the ROD grant. So why aren't the music room addition, environmental remediation, or the field eligible? They won't fund the building project. Like I said, the entire building needs to be too small for the population. The environmental remediation in the field, they will not fund projects of that sort. We've had several conversations with the state regarding this, and that's just their policy. They will not fund any projects that deal with fields. So this last slide just shows you that on February 28th, our Buildings and Grounds director took a sample of the temperature of Verona High School gym. Obviously, it was a cold day out, and the temperature reading was 57 degrees at that time in Verona High School gym. So, again, our heating system is not able to maintain a 60-degree temperature in a large part of our building. So, again, I asked the question, what do you expect in Verona? Our vote for the referendum is March 11th. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And if you'd like more information, please visit veronaschools.org. Click on the maroon referendum banner, and it will take you to all the information you need. If you have other questions that aren't answered, please email me, sforte, S-F-O-R-T-E, at veronaschools.org. Thank you.